Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something a little different, a survival diary. But this isn't about being lost in the woods. It's about seeing everyday life as a strategic battlefield and applying the art of war to just get by. You know, the person writing this didn't exactly sign up to be a survival storyteller, but they feel that since 2015, life has pretty much forced their hand. What you're about to hear is their account of what it's like to endure against what they see as a whole network of unseen forces and coordinated attacks. So let's be clear, this isn't about a run of bad luck or a few unfortunate coincidences. The core idea here is that the author is fighting a multi-front war, and it's being waged by a really complex network of different people and groups. All right, so first, let's take a look at the big picture, the strategic battlefield. The author feels like the pressure is coming from literally all angles. We're talking old business rivals, lingering issues from past legal fights, real estate agents turning up the heat, and even these mysterious third-party groups they believe are actively trying to disrupt their life. Okay, so we've seen the high-level strategy. Now let's get down to the street level, the on-the-ground operations, and this is where things get really personal. The author describes dealing with intimidation from local thugs. They call them soft gundas, and targeted gossip campaigns. It gets even stranger, with claims of black magic and really subtle psychological manipulation. And here's where it gets really specific. The author lays out this pattern of events that honestly is kind of hard to just brush off as coincidence. I mean, think about it. Constant Wi-Fi hacks and phone jamming. Six dead phones in a single year. 6 flat tires in just 4 months. And it gets weirder. Strangers showing up and performing rituals right outside their house. And this right here is a huge turning point in the diary. It's that moment you stop fighting the why me and just accept it. The mindset shifts from questioning the suffering to just bracing for whatever's next, really leaning on faith to get through it. Okay, so if you're in a war like this, how do you even survive? Well, the author starts to piece together these hard-won lessons. They call it wisdom stitched from scars. And these lessons, they are super pragmatic, really down to earth. The big ones are, always have your own money. Protect your time for the important things, faith, family, your health. And this one's interesting. They say to go visit a family court before you get married, just to see the reality. Oh, and a huge tip. If anyone ever gifts you money or property, get it legally recorded. That way, it can't be used against you later. So where does all this survival wisdom lead? Well, it gets applied to something pretty universal: relationships. The next part is framed as a very practical checklist for anyone even thinking about saying, I do. First up, it's all about building an honest foundation. And notice the reframing here. A pre-agreement isn't seen as unromantic, it's a survival tool. That's paired with making sure you have total clarity on who your partner is and that the whole relationship is built on free will, not some kind of manipulation. And the list keeps going, getting into the nitty-gritty stuff that can really make or break a relationship. You know, talking openly about intimacy, really understanding each other's day-to-day habits like eating, sleeping, and especially spending. And financially, the advice is to have both your own personal account and a joint one. And this right here really just sums up the whole philosophy, doesn't it? The idea is that love can be pure and wonderful, but in the real world, it's the paperwork that's going to protect your peace of mind. It's a fascinating mix of idealism and just battle-hardened realism. But it's not all just practical advice. The diary takes this, well, kind of surreal turn. It asks a really interesting question. Can survival also be just absurd? And this is a perfect example of how bizarre things get. The author talks about what they call the Dodi/Mundu series. They describe groups of men just walking past their gate over and over with their hands tucked inside their traditional garments. To an outsider, it might look like nothing, but to the author, it feels like a coordinated act of mockery, almost like a walking, real-life version of a TV ad for itch cream. Yeah, and it escalates from just plain weird to genuinely disturbing. The author keeps a list of things they found around their property, things that just don't feel like random litter, but like targeted intimidation. And it's important to note, the diary says all of these findings have been reported to the police. All right, so let's get to our final section. How does someone even process all of this? This is where we get into bigger ideas, like cosmic justice, and what true strength really looks like. And this quote, wow, it really gets to the heart of the author's philosophy, you know? The idea that truth isn't about being the loudest voice in the room. It's just about having the strength to endure. So to really bring this idea of cosmic justice home, the author tells this incredible personal story. For months, they were finding nails scattered in front of their house every single morning. And then one day, they saw the exact same kind of nails lying in front of the house of the very person they suspected was doing it. For them, that wasn't a coincidence. That was karma, delivered.
And that leads to this mic drop of a line. Karma doesn't call ahead. It doesn't knock on your door. It just delivers.
But here's the thing. It's not just about sitting back and waiting for karma to do its thing. The author flips it around into a call to action. The suggestion is simple. Don't just wait for karma. Go out and create some good karma. See nails on the road? Pick them up. It's a small act that could have a huge impact. So after all of this, after years of struggle laid out in this diary, you might expect it to end in defeat. But it doesn't. It ends with this incredibly powerful declaration. Despite everything, they're still here, still standing, and still believing in the light. And that leaves us with this final, really powerful thought, a complete reframing of what it even means to survive. It's not a sign of weakness or being a victim. In a war like this, the simple act of surviving, well, that's just courage in disguise.